I will show you some fast and effective ways to apply a matte effects on the tanks. And we will start with some pigments application, like we can say the foundation for further steps. And we will use, again, like I showed yesterday, we can use a pigment from an airbrush. So I heard already that it's a new technique for someone. But it's a very cool way to apply a pigment in a very even layer. And for this you can use, to dilute the pigment, you can use enamel thinner. But I think the acrylic thinner of any type acts better for it. So we will mix some directly in the cup. But using enamel thinner for this, you will achieve a different effect, because pigment doesn't mix so well with enamel, but the effect is different. Maybe more random, less controllable, but today we'll use okay. So let's at first apply a layer of dust. And now we can use a hair dryer to speed up the drying time. And it looks very different than paint applied. It's just a real dust. We can say the pigment is dust and it's applied in an even way. And it has when you look closer, it has a structure. It has a small structure, and if something went wrong, you can remove it using even a dry brush or with a water or thinner. And when you apply acrylic paint, it's solid. And the other benefit of this, while using a pigment, not the earth tones of acrylics, it's that you can apply enamels and the effect will be very realistic on the pigments. Okay, so we've got our base. Maybe I've got a little, so maybe for other side, but we will focus on one side very fast.
You use high pressure
I think it's normal pressure, just about one. Doesn't matter really. If you feel that you blown the mixture away, so maybe you need to reduce the pressure.
I thought maybe the grain of the pigment would need more pressure.
Really, I don't know. I think you just need to try. It's not, that it must be one and anyway. Okay, so we've got one side. And now we will use some other product from Ammo range. Maybe some of you know it already. It's quite old product here. We've got two densities in this line. The splashes one are thinner, and the heavy matter it's obviously a thicker one. So at first we will apply on this dust. We apply some light and dry matte. When you see something like this on the product, which is unused for some time, it's no problem. It acts like a seal. So just you need to remove it and. And while using this enamel, not acrylic product, you've got plenty of time to correct the mistakes and even remove the excess after a few hours. With acrylics, you've got the solid base after, when it's dry, it's impossible to remove. And the effect is different. I also like apply acrylic matte, of course, because it's different, and sometimes I want to make it that way. But since we released this product, I like it a lot. Okay, we need a flat brush. We need to make some tests. The good idea is to cover the place you don't want to be covered with mud, to just mask it with Tamiya tape or something, but never mind. Not today, we don't have a tape. A little more. And of course you need to work in layers and give some time to dry. And of course you can use different brushes because the effect will be different. Maybe more pressure. So it's now about 3. Okay, let's see on the 3 bar pressure. Okay. It's nice. I will show you in 2 minutes. I'm not sure it is. Maybe we need a more close-up on the screen, or I will just pass you. So never mind. already covered with some mud. So the pigment, it's just enamel paint, but the particles are from marble, so they don't dilute in this, and they are uneven. You know, they are not just round like sand grains. They are, you know, just uneven. And very in this one from the splash is very small, so you need some time to build up the effect. But when you look closer, it's, I don't like to say amazing, but maybe we can say it's amazing effect. Little bit more. All right, not this one. We need to dry it. It's fast and effective, but of course in the real situation when you're walking over your best kit ever, you need some time. I think 3 times longer, but it's still very convincing effect. Because layer after the layer you will see nice build up and grain. Okay, I think it's almost okay. So when you look closer, you see the fine grain, and it's totally flat. And of course the effect is random, like in real life, when the mud is splashing from the running gear. And the pigment base, the pigment layer beneath, you see those tiny tiny circles around, like wet areas. You see? So over the paint, it won't look like this. So, if we need a dry mat, we can use tones from this palette, you know, light tones, so maybe little darker, and we can use light dry mat. I've got just wet mat. We will mix it because I've already told you yesterday I haven't got a registered luggage for my flight, so I've got a very limited resources with me. And thanks to Alex from France, he brought a stuff for me, but not everything. Never mind. We'll just try to make a nice effect with just, you know, 2 or 3 colors. It's still possible. We don't need 20 colors. So anyway. So if you just need a dry mat, it's almost ready. You can add a pigment on it and fix it and build up some mud build-ups with this product, but in lighter tones. But now we will make some wet areas and wet mat over the dry mat. So we will mix this one with wet. The wet has less structure, but it's glossy. I think it's better now, yeah? Okay, we will use some of this. And we will make some mid-tone. Maybe a little bit more, it's too light. Let's say we can mix at 2 tones, and still I will apply it as a splashes because I don't have any other tones, but the product could be mixed, of course. So the damp and wet mat will collect over the details, over the suspensions, over the wheels. So you need to leave areas between it, just cover with a dry mat. And when we switch to darker tone, we will focus on the even smallest area. So dry, mid-tones, and dark tones for the most wet areas. Alex, my friend, could you make some pictures with me and the audience and, you know. Thanks. No, you don't need a code, yes. You just need to swipe the screen left. can cover with more product under the fenders. This always, of course, good to make some tests how your brush will act. Okay, I think we've done here. We've got some overspray here, which in fact doesn't look bad, but I think some streak marks now will be good in this place. So a little thinner. And you can make a streaks effects from this. Okay, we leave some mud dots here. So this effect is not possible with acrylic mud because it will be dry, and you can still blend it and make a first streaks layers, or just leave some splashes on the areas that are, you know, confirmed from the reference photos. Always look at the photos, because imagination and creativity is very good, but you know, when you're composing a diorama or general concepts, but not with the weathering on a specific type of vehicle, when you apply something which is impossible. For example, try to find a advancing Hetzer tank on the YouTube, even from the military shows. And there is a movie showing advancing Hetzer over very heavy mud. All wheels, running gear, all is covered with streaking mud. Totally mess. But the rear plate is completely clean, because the fenders worked. So, but in other type of vehicle, you will see a lot of mud on the rear. So I think it's a very good idea to always see the reference. Okay. It's under 2 tones.
When you are using your technique to create some kind of mud, you don't use wash to highlight parts of the suspension. It's not needed. Covered by mud. In this situation, you don't need to waste a time for a wash. You will make some, we can say, washes later with earth tones. For example, to emphasize the details here, to make some wet areas, to make some contrast. But this typical classical wash which you apply on the whole, no, it's a waste of time when you will cover all with mud.
maybe if you will just apply a little, and you like apply a wash, you can do it. But in this situation, you don't need it because we've got a lot of mud here, and we've got 3 tones here. Yes, the pigment, one, and the second, and then we will apply a third one. Maybe from the smaller brush. I think I will add more. Okay. And of course you can use it from different angles. Maybe I will use this. Okay. A little bit more. Okay, let's say it's enough for the, presentation, and we will go more.
On the wheels, you will just splashes with the dark one, but the soft ones.
You need to see how it was on the wheels in the real vehicle, because sometimes the inner part of the wheel is dry and you've got collected wet mud only over the rims. So it depends the effect you would like to achieve.
It depends also from let's say a tank or a truck. With the wheels are directly in the mud. Your tank is more the truck which is in the mud. So the effect will be different between wheels of the tank and wheels of
As I said, you need to look at the photos and try to recreate the effect from the photos. Because sometimes, you know, in other hand, you've got 5 or 10 photos showing that the wheels or something are completely covered with mud and it looks boring and not very nice. So sometimes we need to make less and be more artistic then. Okay, now we will mix some and we will apply it with a brush. If you feel that the consistency is not heavy enough, you can always add something to the product. And we will add this. I bought it yesterday. It's some mix of cork or something from Diodamp. And even we can use a size like this. So we can apply a product on the piece of cork like this, and it will be a mud build-up, which will take a long time for applying, you know, with just a product. So maybe it's too big. Okay. And of course you can blend it and when you're completely satisfied with the first layer and you want to go fast with another layers, you can seal it with acrylic flat varnish. And then you can go with the washes, and the all remains solid because it's sealed with acrylic. And then you can work very fast during one day. Because now if I will go with washes and with thinner, I will dissolve it. But after 12 hours or 24 hours, it will be hard as rock.
But you don't have to wait for it to dry before you put on the acrylic varnish.
If it's dry to attach, no problem. So let's say a coffee time and you can seal it. Nothing will happen. And when you are applying a heavy mat, the proper effect will be visible when it's dry. When the old thinner evaporate, and you will see the whole structure, the grain, the particles, because now it's too wet. And when it's still wet or damp, we can use, I don't have it with me, but you can use old stiff brush or just a stiff brush, and you can dab it and make a structure in it. And then using a tapping motion, we can blend the wet mat with a dry one. So now just focus on the rear of the tank. We don't have time to do it on the all. Almost there. And a little bit more wet. I will dilute it a little. Okay. And now we cannot. Oh, okay. It was here. So it's not bad. We've got a nice base for the next steps.
The pigment you just sprinkled on, it stays?
Yes, because it's still wet.
You don't do anything to it. Afterwards, maybe seal it with a varnish?
Maybe, but you know, it's just an experiment. Try to add a different color. And when it's dry, for sure, maybe we will try to make some effects on the front, which is already, I think it's already dry. And I will show you how we can emphasize it more. Probably the earth tones will work better, but we need to use what we have. Any questions for these steps? Everything is clear, yeah.
The product you're using over there, what you mixed in, not the deodorant thing, is it cork or what was it?
It looks like a cork with, I don't know, with some...
What do you normally use?
I use a cork. I grind it in the grinder, and I use it's some stuff for garden also make from the cork. It comes from IKEA in brick like this, and it's, you know, to plant the flowers, and you can, you know, just smash it in your hand and it looks something like this, but it's more brown, reddish. But the color doesn't matter, and it looks, maybe yes, but for sure it contains a cork inside, or no, I don't know, but it's great for the diorama ground or some stuff like this.
They've got one box more, mate. Go and buy it. Yes. You know, you can make it 10 less cheaper at home, but sometimes we don't have time and we buy a fancy products because we love them. In nice boxes.
When you spray pigments on it, what needle is it? What size is it?
For sure, the bigger the better. It's around 0.4, so it's maybe you don't. Please don't use your best airbrush for this. Yes. So because I got sometimes a situation that a small stone grain, sand grain is in the pigment, and it can stuck in the nozzle, and you will bend the needle. So maybe some, but I use Air Cobra for everything because it's robust like a hammer, and you can't kill it. So I like this stuff. Okay, we can now make some. We will mix some dark wash with fresh engine oil. It's a very cool enamel with a nice color of exhausted oil. Where's the camera?
If you put on varnish, would you put on satin?
It depends. When I want to seal the dry mud, of course I will use a flat or ultra flat varnish. But maybe if we got a semi-damp mud or something, we can use, you know.
Because you have here light and dark, which is dry and wet. So what would you put on?
I will put flat, and then maybe in some areas I will apply a semi-gloss or gloss.
Yeah.
And now we can make something like washes. But the product is still wet, so I need to be careful. And of course you can use the mat just like a wash, for example on the hull, and when it will be dry it will look just like a wash, but with a little structure, you know, with some particles, which is very good. It's not flat, it's not just a dust. And of course, if you would like to blend some effects and darken some areas, don't be afraid to use enamels from an airbrush. It's just a paint, and it behaves much better than acrylics when you work over the enamel base. So if we got enamel matte, and if it's still damp, we apply enamels through the airbrush, and it will blend. If you will apply acrylics,
something will gonna happen. So I work a lot of enamels from an airbrush. Of course, I don't paint the kids with enamels, but sometimes maybe it would be interesting, for example, to paint like on old-fashioned and using very cool Tamiya paints. No.
That was all we had.
Yes. Yes. Oh, it spreads so nicely over this.
When the oil stains dry, don't they fade a little? Or they still seep into the mud? They lose a little darkness?
They lose the shine. So when it's dry, you need to apply another layer and another, and sometimes 3 or 4 times. And sometimes it's good idea to add an oil paint to it. So let's add. So let's try a little. It's dark. So we can mix this one with this one. We will apply it under the fender. And then we need to blend it. Very softly. So it's not sealed, so you know, I need to be very careful, but it's still possible, and if you feel comfortable with this, so you don't need to seal. If you've got the time, just wait overnight, and it's always better. But on the shows we need to use hair dryers. With some accidents sometimes with pigment. It was so funny. Okay, maybe some streaks. All right. Oh, everything is covered with enamel.
This last part is to make really mud that has not been dried. The last one. When you burn it, it's not like it's fresh mud.
Yes, but it will dry out, and if you need a little more shine on it, you will need to apply it 2 or 3 times. If you need, you know, leaking oil from the parts or matte which dries the slowest on some parts. So, well, maybe better to remove this. So we made it within an hour. So it's really fast and effective and easy, I think. You need to practice, of course, but I think after 5 hours
you will have the whole done, and you can go further with another parts. And we've got just 2 colors. I think you don't need all the range all the time. Of course, if you like a colorful painting, you can buy all range. It's just 12 colors, 6 in each line. But when you make usually only a dry mat and dry mat on your on your tank, so you will need only a certain color. So, but I like this product very, very much. So, guys, have you got any questions about this or something more?
To have very different layer of mud, you can repeat the operation layer by layer. If you want to have, let's say, 8 layers of mud, you can do 8 times the same job. But you can add on the 7th one.
Yes, you can add it, and sometimes it's worth it. You know, it will look better and better. And as you can see, you can add something like this, and you can just add sand. Or something else, and look what happened. And yesterday we made such tracks in a different way, and I think it will fit.
It's also done with the pigments.
This one was made only with pigments. We made acrylic washes first, and then all was made with pigments and some enamels. So not heavy matte products.
Also some fresh oil or something.
Yes.